Namaste and welcome. This is a four-part series and it has one job. Not to explain the dMAT, to sit with you and solve the hard questions, the ones that decide your score. Here is the running order. 1. Figure sequences. 2. Mathematical equations. 3. Latin squares. 4. The general academic module. Together, that is the whole exam. Today, part 1. Figure sequences. 5 by 5 grids, and we are going straight at the difficult ones. 5 series each harder than the exam average, deliberately. 30 seconds first on how to practice this properly. Every paper in our mock series is 90 questions, core module and subject module together. 165 minutes under a real clock, not a 5-question sample. 10 papers, 900 questions of practice, and the sample test is free. 20 questions, no card, just to see where you stand. Right, let's work. Before the first question, the shape of the task. Get this wrong and you lose time on question 1. The dMAT does not show you a row of icons, it shows you a grid, 5 by 5. 4 of them in sequence, and it asks you for the next 2. 2 answers, every single question, with a separate set of options for each one. Inside the grid, figures can move, change color and turn, vertically, horizontally or diagonally. But they cannot leave the grid. When a figure reaches an edge, it either bounces back or runs along it. And they never disappear and never sit on top of each other. Remember that last pair, it kills wrong options for free. 75 seconds a series. That sounds tight. It isn't, if you spend the first 10 seconds correctly. Most students spend those 10 seconds staring at the first grid. That is the single most expensive habit in this section. The first grid tells you nothing. Nothing has changed yet. The information lies in the jump between grids. So here is the opening move. Look across all 4 and find the element that changes the most. The noisiest element gives up its rule fastest. Name that rule, and you have usually killed half the options before you've looked at anything else. Noisy first, quiet second, always that order. In the opposite case, the lazy suspect. Sometimes an element simply never moves. Same cell, same color, grid after grid. Confirm it once, then ignore it completely. A still figure is not a clue, it's furniture. Students lose 40 seconds looking for meaning that isn't there. Now the move that saves the most time in this whole section. Once you have one rule, just one, go straight to the options and eliminate. You do not need the full answer to remove wrong ones. If the figure must be gold, every option where it isn't is gone. Then you solve the second rule against 1 survivor, not 3. Same work, half the time. 5 hard series now. No notes, nothing to write with, nothing to write on, exactly like the real thing. Question 1. 1 square walking around the edge of the grid. Both answers, the 5th grid and the 6th. Noisiest first, the position. Top left corner, then along the top, then down the right hand side, then along the bottom. Now count the gap. It is not moving 1 cell, it is moving 3 every step. And the second rule is the color. Blue, gold, alternating. So, 3 more cells brings it to the bottom left corner and it's blue. That's option C. 3 more again, up the left hand side, gold, option B. Most people move that square 1 cell and pick with total confidence. You counted the gap. That is the whole difference. Question 2. 2 figures this time, a blue circle and a gold square. Track them separately. The circle is the easy one, 1 cell clockwise along the top every step. The square is the interesting one. Bottom right corner, then up the side, then the top right corner, then leftwards along the top. That is going the other way, counterclockwise, and 2 cells at a time, not one. Fifth grid. The circle reaches the top right corner, the square reaches the top left. Option B. Sixth, the circle turns the corner and starts down the right-hand side. The square keeps running back down the left. Option C. 2 figures moving in opposite directions inside one grid. That is exam hard and you handled it. 4 techniques now that separate a good score from an average one. First, when the steps are unequal, look at the differences between the steps. A figure that moves 1 cell, then 2, then 3 is not random. The official rules have a name for it. They call it x plus 1. If a rule looks like it has no pattern, you are one level too high. Drop down and look at the gaps. Second, count movement, not position. When a figure travels round the edge, your eye wants to read where it is sitting. Top left, right side, bottom. That list rarely makes a pattern, but the jumps between them almost always do. Ask how far it moved, never where it landed. Third, check the direction before you trust the pattern. We are trained by every exam we have ever sat to expect things to go forwards. The dMAT knows that. A figure running counterclockwise is exactly as easy as one running clockwise unless you assumed. Then it is fatal. Fourth, and this is the one people forget, color and orientation are rules too. A figure can sit in exactly the right cell and still be the wrong answer because it is the wrong color. And a color cycle does not have to be 2 stages. 3 is common. Check the 4th grid before you assume it alternates. And one rule about the clock before the last 3. At 90 seconds on a single series, mark it, skip it, move. One stubborn question can eat 4 easy ones. In a 20 series section, that trade is never worth it. And never leave a blank. The official instructions say it in plain words. If you do not know, guess. There is nothing to lose. Question 3. One arrow on the middle row, the step is not steady. Find what the step is doing. Left edge, then 2 cells across, then one more, then it comes back on itself. Look at the gaps. 2, then 3, then 4. The step is growing by 1, that is x plus 1, exactly as the official rules describe it. And when it runs out of room, it does not vanish. It bounces off the edge and travels back the other way. The second rule is much calmer. The arrow turns 90 degrees clockwise every step, right, down, left, up. 5th grid, 5 cells on. It reaches the right-hand edge, bounces, and settles in the center, pointing right. Option B. 6th, 6 more. It runs left, bounces off the far edge, and comes all the way back to the right-hand column, pointing down. Option A. An accelerating step with a bounce is about as hard as this section gets. It did not beat you. Question 4. A triangle, walking the boundary. This is the trap I warned you about. Count movement, not position. The cells it sits in, top left, then 2 along the top, then the right-hand side, then the bottom. As a list of positions, that is noise. Now count the jumps. 2, 3, 4. Growing by 1, the same x plus 1 rule, this time running round the edge instead of a longer row. And the color alternates, blue, red, blue, red. Fifth grid, jump 5. That carries it round to the left-hand side and it's blue, option C. Sixth, jump 6 up to the top right corner, red, option A. That is the single trap that catches the most people in this section. You are past it. Last one, everything from today in one grid. Take the full time, both answers. Position first, bottom left corner, then along the bottom, then the bottom right corner, then up the right-hand side. 2 cells a step, but look at the direction. It is running backwards round the edge, counterclockwise. And the color, blue, gold, red, not 2 colors, 3. The cycle is longer than you expect. Fifth grid, 2 more round to the top right corner, and the color comes back to gold, option C. Sixth, 2 more along the top, red, option B. That was the hardest grid in this video and you finished it. Take that feeling into the exam hall. Your figure sequence strategy in 6 lines. It is a 5 by 5 grid and it always wants the next 2. Open on the jump, never on the first grid. Noisiest element first. Confirm the lazy one, then ignore it. Eliminate on one rule before you solve the second. Count jumps, not cells, and check direction, color, and orientation before you trust a pattern. At 90 seconds, mark, skip, move, and never leave a blank. That is figure sequences. Speed in this section comes from one thing only, doing it under a real clock again and again. Next in this series, mathematical equations. We help you prepare. Always verify the details in the official dMAT notification. Prepare well. Germany is worth it.